in a public life, the most valuable thing you may receive from a fellow citizen is their vote. Because embedded in that vote are their hopes and their aspirations for the future. But also embedded in that vote are the trust and the confidence that they give to you to take them to that aspirational future. And that is why to have received over 31 million votes from our countrymen is as valuable a expression of trust as can be had by anyone in public life. And so for that, I thank our people. And beyond that, I promise you that we may not be perfect, but we will always strive to perfection. Thank you very much.
The News Day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. More Filipino nurses resigned in search for greener pastures overseas over the past few years. The resulting lack of healthcare workers is seen to pose a huge problem if there will be another COVID-19 surge in the country. Faith Del Mundo with the story.
30-year-old Benji Foscablo resigned as a nurse in a private hospital to focus on his application abroad. He is planning to fly this year to work as a nurse in the Middle East or Europe, whichever will accept his application first.
Yun na nga, if you're looking for a competitive compensation from the Philippines and other countries, sobrang layo yung mga nurses na nagtatrabaho sa Pinas. And being a nurse, being a frontliner, parang sayang kasi yung opportunity if we depend on the opportunity here in our countries. And that's the reason why a lot of our nurses are working and taking the opportunity going abroad. Kasi sobrang layo talaga. Yun nga, paulit-ulit pa natin sinasabi yun, the compensation, the salary package is not competitive.
Benji is just one of the Filipino nurses who resigned to search for greener pastures overseas. This year, as of March 28, POEA recorded 8,000 nurses who flew abroad, and last year, more than 11,000 moved out of the country. The easing of travel and working restrictions abroad, as well as the consistent demand for Filipino nurses and their world-class performance, are other factors in the exodus of Filipino health workers that we're seeing now. But the number of nurses in the country should not be a problem according to PRC, as there are 900,000 registered nurses, but only 400,000 are practicing nursing. The only problem is the huge gap between the salary of health workers here and abroad.
The entry level of work abroad will start for an annual salary of 750,000 compared to an annual salary of a government nurse na highest position and highest paid of 650,000. So may gap. ASEAN. For the ASEAN nations, the average salary for nurses here in the Philippines is 40,000 compared to Singapore of 234,000. So with that gap, it will really attract our nurses to go abroad.
According to Dr. Jose Rene De Grano, president of Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines, they need a number of healthcare workers, particularly nurses, since they lack about 50% of nurses for private hospitals. De Grano said that this lack of nurses will be a cause for concern, especially in case of another COVID surge in the country or if there will be other outbreaks, because if private hospitals lack manpower, they have no choice but to stop admission of patients. But as for Nurse Benji, they can stay and work here in the Philippines if only they will be given a more competitive salary and benefits. With this, they hope that the next administration will focus on the welfare of the nurses.
Na sana magkaroon ng competitive compensations and decent salaries for our nurses and to our health workers para po at least they have the reason to stay. Kasi mahirap din po yun sa part nila na lalayo sila sa family nila. At the same time, mas mahirap dito sa healthcare system ng bansa natin na nangangailangan din tayo ng mga, mga health workers. Kasi, Isa po yun sa reason bakit tayo nananalo sa pandemic or sa crisis na to. It's because of our frontliners na nandyan sila at hindi tayo pinabayaan na yung time na nagkasakit tayo, nandyan sila para gumaling at inaalagaan. Sana halagaan din natin sila. Sana bigyan natin sila ng dissenting compensation or competitive na compensation.
For News 5, Faith Del Mundo, we are One News.
The country's leading business paper, Business World, is back with its two-day virtual economic forum. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez tells us all about day one.
With the theme Revolutions 2022, Navigating the Changed World, experts from various sectors once again gathered to highlight transformations and best practices amid the ongoing pandemic. Asian Development Bank Chief Economist Albert Park kicked off with a warning on inflation.
We have the war in Ukraine. In addition, there's a lot of concern now about potential financial instability triggered by aggressive tightening by the U.S. Federal Reserve, as well as the remaining risks of the pandemic.
One of their recommendations is for the government to raise tax revenues now to increase its fiscal space. The Finance Department, in fact, recommended to the incoming administration to remove VAT exemptions. This could generate at least 142.5 billion pesos annually, which then can be used to pay off debts. On the flip side, the ADB forecasted growth of 6% for the Philippines this year, among the fastest in Asia. Asia, panelists said, is also leading digital growth, and local companies are in prime position.
Our focus right now is really to help develop the base of the pyramid and the channels that service it. A lot of entrepreneurs, fisher folks, tricycle drivers, market stall vendors, we are enabling them. In that way, they're able to learn more about finances.
The other big theme of the conference was sustainability. As part of the Philippines' commitment to the Paris Agreement, the government is targeting a 75% reduction in greenhouse gas emission by 2030. But it seems we're a little behind.
We are really failing in our commitment and action towards decarbonizing our industries across the planet. Both government and private sector need to ramp up commitments. That's where it has to begin.
What we need to see is actually a roadmap, because the 75% reduction is the whole country, and all of us has to be in sync, working towards that 75% reduction.
Crisanto added they're hoping for the next administration to open opportunities for green investments and industries, as well as laws to empower it. Day 2 of the Economic Forum on May 26 will tackle the digital economy, internet revolution, as well as virtual spaces. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez, we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. A DOH advisor does not recommend the administration of the smallpox vaccine to a large number of people, saying this could cause more harm than good. Dr. Edsel Salvania of the DOH Technical Advisory Group tells One News' Agenda that the smallpox reaction could cause a bad reaction among some patients. He also notes that the country does not have a stockpile of the smallpox vaccine because we're not encountering any bioterrorism issues. Salvania also says that if the Philippines does have a monkeypox outbreak, we can always seek help from the US. And for now, Salvania assures the public that the monkeypox is survivable and that the current restrictions against COVID-19 are sufficient to also fight the monkeypox virus. So far, no cases of monkeypox have been detected in the country.
Ibang-iba to sa COVID na yung, if you remember 2 years ago, we had no idea what the heck we were doing. But now we have vaccines, we have treatment. For monkeypox, noong 2003, nag-outbreak sa US, nagpanic na lahat ng tao at that time. And so a lot of treatments were developed. This is a known entity. Even if you get monkeypox, it's survivable.
Veteran actress Susan Roses will be laid to rest later today. To give us the latest, we have JC Cosico joining us on the line from Heritage Park in Taguig. Good morning, JC. Could you tell us what you're seeing?
Charles, from the Heritage Park in Taguig, the convoy for the late Queen of Philippines, Cinema Susan Roses, is now making its way to the Manila North Cemetery, where she'll be laid to rest. But earlier, a mass was held where only family members and close friends were able to attend. We saw actress Boots Asanroa and Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. Fans were told to watch a live stream online or head straight to Manila North, where she again be laid to rest beside the tomb of her husband, Fernando Poe Jr. Our family and fans were emotional during her final wake last night. Her daughter Grace Poe recalled how simple her mama Inday was and how supportive she is to her husband, FPJ. President Duterte also attended the final wake Wednesday. She died on Wednesday or on May 20 due to cardiopulmonary arrest. She was 80 years old. Charles.
Thank you for those updates, JC. Once again, that was JC Cosico. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.